welcome back to Come Sit With Us podcast with your co-hosts, Nicole St. and Anna Ennis. Anna, what are we
That was
talking about today?
hilarious. I was just taking a huge gulp of water and Nicole pushed record. We are talking about there is enough, and we're going to talk about abundance and abundance conversation. So this came up, I think this came up in my own life because I've been very aware the world is just feeling a little cuckoo cuckoo as it always has. But it's maybe it's just my ears are at a different tone. I don't know. Maybe it's because I understand abundance more than I ever have. And so like I hear a lot of talk about like there's not enough money, there's not enough time. Like, oh, you know what? You should pick a career or a job that makes this amount of money because you're never going to be successful doing that because that doesn't make any money. I've heard that this week. I've heard, you know what, there's not enough time. I don't even know why you would even pursue that. There's like not enough time to finish that. Like, how are you going to fit that in your day? Like, what do you mean? Like, there's not enough time, not enough. I've heard, you know what, like pertaining to food, there's just not enough food. There's not enough food in the grocery store. Like, look at this. We're already out of tomatoes here. We're out of tomatoes. Like, and I'm in the grocery aisle and I'm hearing this talk of like, we're out of this food. Wonder what else we're going to run out of. I was at Sprouts when that happened. I'm like, oh man, there's just this vibe right now of just like in certain people's worlds of like not enough. And I think why it feels really intensified is because I've never listened to that vibe ever. Not during 2020, not during the poorest moments of my life as a college student, when people were like, yeah, you're doing hair. Oh God, they only make like 30,000 a year. You're really going to go into that? Oh,
Seriously? People said that
that's
to you?
scary. Yeah. Or at the time it was 20,000, 19,000, 20,000. I'm like, well, that's 19,000 more than I have. Or you're going to go travel. Like, what do you mean you're going to travel? Like you're going to have enough money for that. You're not going to. So there's always going to be this like conversation around us of like not enough. And in my own life, when I hear that conversation, it's like, I used to just like dig my heels in deeper and be like, well, I'll show you.
Oh, I love that. That's me too. Yes, absolutely.
And
Watch
I've
me.
watched me,
Watch
right?
me.
And I've matured out of that now. Thank
Oh, I'm
goodness
still
that.
there. I'm still there. But I'm
Okay.
having the conversation with myself, with the part of me that says, oh, you can't do this. No one's going to buy this from you. Watch me.
Yeah.
Me. It's my motivation, and I'm okay with it. Like I love that part of the motivation. So yes.
It's kind of like when I went into the coaching space full time, and I actually had family members, close friends that were like, oh, you think you're going to make money at that? You did so well with hair. Why would you quit doing hair? Like you're doing great at it. Like you're making such a good living for your family. And like, huh, really? You're going to go into that? Or like when someone's at a party, I was at an event this last week, and I never really talk about what I do because people just don't understand it. And so I would rather just talk about them. And so I always divert the conversation because doing hair, I learned really quickly like how to divert conversations. I feel like I'm a master at it. So like I usually divert the conversation because I'm like, if they really want to know, they're gonna like really ask questions, right? And not just the superficial ones. And so I had this woman ask me like, oh, wow, what is it that you do again? And so I say what I do or whatever. And I never bring up money or anything like that, even though I've done pretty good, darn good at this, right? Like, um, and she's like, oh, there's really a need for that coaching? Like, oh, that's interesting. Like, women really want to be coached? Clearly not my ideal client.
Clearly not.
like,
She could clearly
like
use some coaching on how to have some tact.
no, and you know what? I don't take offense to it I don't take offense to it anymore. I take it as more of like, um, there's more opportunity. Like there's more opportunity for me now because now that I see that then there's more opportunity for the work that I'm doing. And I speak about abundance a lot. Nicole and I both do. Like we talk about it in our work a lot. Like that's what we do. Like one of the things that we really love talking about. So
Abundance is a mindset. So is lack. Lack is a mindset. Those are mindset problems. If you can't look around you and see like how abundant you are, and I don't care how poor you are right now, You have something that somebody else doesn't have, that they
Money
can't
poor? You
believe
mean
that they
money
don't
poor?
have. I'm talking money poor. I'm talking you could literally be living in a freaking box and have a richer life than someone who lives in a multi-million dollar home.
Truth.
You can have, I mean, seriously. And I just think that you got to look at, I'm all about the dream life, right? Like, what do you want your life to look like? What actionable steps can you take to get there? Because there's enough for everybody. Like, I literally encouraged a friend of mine who has a similar circle. We know a lot of the same people. She knows a lot more people than I do. I encouraged her to go get her hypnotherapy certification. Like, because there's plenty of room for all of us. Like, there's plenty of business for everybody. There's plenty of people that need your services and want the help that you can make an impact with. And I think that that's a mindset. I could have sat there and been like, no, there's not enough for me. She's gonna take clients from me. Um, but
One of
no,
the most empowering money things that was ever told to me when I was younger, and I still remember it to this day, and I remember the exact moment this gentleman said it to me. And he was a financial planner, and I started working with him pretty early on. And he was like, because I was like telling him, like, yeah, I don't have a lot of money to invest and stuff, and like I'm nervous because this was like during 2008. Like I'm nervous that like I'm seeing the economy do this stuff, and like I'm like, there's just not enough money, right? Like, okay, should I be doing this? And he looked right at me and he's like, you know what? That's a mindset. And I said, what are you talking about? There's physically people with no money. Like I'm looking at people in my friends circle and my family circle, like they're going down fast, like
yeah,
flies, right? They're losing houses, like stuff's going down, right? He's like, no, here's the deal, Anna. He's like, that is a total mindset thing. He said, because when money never goes away. Like money changes hands of the people that it's in. And when you have a mindset of like anything's possible and you can tap into infinite possibility, like you're that person that God in the universe gives the money to, right? There's like money all around our world right now. When we're in a recession, it's not that the money goes away. Even more money is made during recessions. Like more money is printed, more money is everywhere during a recession. Like, but it's the people that understand that when I live in a space of joy, when I live in a space of like gratitude, when I live in a space of an intentionality, my life is better, right? Like my being as a person, as I walk down the street, I walk with a different frequency. And when you walk with a different frequency, opportunity comes to you, right? And what I mean by that is like you're walking and then all of a sudden it's like I feel great. I feel wonderful. I'm grateful for the little house I have. I'm grateful for the car I get to. I'm grateful for the things that I have, right? And all of a sudden, there's this thing that unlocks in you a truth of like, yes, but what if, like, Anna, this is the time. You need to go into this. You need to do this. And all of a sudden, you have this excitement and this energy towards this new thing, and it starts producing actual physical results. Like, right? That's how my life has worked. Like, it
yeah.
hasn't, I've struggled and I've had to work really, really hard. That mindset that I had to work really, really hard in order for things to come was because like that was what was ingrained in me. It was a mindset. And it wasn't until most recently that I decided to ditch that mindset. Honestly, it's something that creeps up every day of like, you got to work hard. And it's like, no, I don't. Like, what I have to do is I have to show up and like love the hell out of my life. What I have to do is like pour into my marriage, into my relationships, into all the stuff, right? And when I do that, there's just this there's this way that I am. There's this way
It
that you
becomes
are.
you become magnetic. You really do.
You
You become
become
magnetic for the right
magnetic.
client, for the right opportunities to come into your lap. You become magnetic for the right part of your relationship to continue to form in your marriage.
Totally.
For really good opportunities in your relationship with your kids, with your clients, like all of it. Like
Yeah.
you just become more magnetic for the things that you desire to have because now you've heard us say this before. I'm going to say it again. The person who says the whole like, if it wasn't for this, then I wouldn't have, if it wasn't for bad luck, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's real. Like they're completely 100% correct because they keep putting that energy out into the world that they have this luck, that it's shit, that they're always going to have it. I cannot live like that. I cannot. Oh, I can't do it. I can't deal with it. I don't want people in my circle to be that. I can't. I can only handle it so much whenever it's all negative all the time. Um, I mean, hey, we all have our cycles of like shit that happens in our life. I've, had some recent shit in my life that literally talked to Anne about. I'm all, girl, how do I break this cycle? Um, and, you know, but it's now I'm sitting here choosing to be present in the moment and to pour into my business and to pour into my relationships and to just try to be the best version of me that I can be because the abundance is out there. I can sit there and look at what's not in my bank account, or I can be really grateful for what is.
And I think sometimes we forget, like, even in the hardest of points of my life, my mine and my husband's life, like the really hard points, like financially, but also relationally, like with our marriage and just health things with our kids, like in the really, really bad points, I've had those bad moments and I've lived in a state of depression for at points of my life for way too long because I didn't realize that if I just changed like literally like three things, my entire life would change. If I just
Were they
decided,
three specific things?
yeah, let me show you what, yeah, the same things I just talked about. If I changed the level of gratitude that I had for what I currently have and just fell in love with the current life that I have, everything will change, right? If I realize that like, the little house that I'm going to share with you, the little house Jason and I used to live in is small, even smaller than what we lived in now. And it's like the little house that we lived in, it's totally broken down, right? Like, and I chose to like look at all the faults of the house instead of looking at that I had a roof over my head, that we had food, that we had cars, that we had great careers, that we had all of this stuff, right? The moment that we just like learned to fall in love with like our marriage, like there were points in my marriage where I just did not like my husband and he did not like me. We were being jerks to each other, okay? But it was like we dreamed of having this marriage where we could grow old together and where we like adored each other and where we like were silly and funny and just like loved seeing each other. And like we kept dreaming of that, but it just wasn't happening as fast as we wanted it to.
Yeah.
But like we took one small step towards it. So like every day I'm like, okay, what's one little thing that I could do in order to, even though I don't want to do it right now because I'm so mad at him, right? What's one little thing that I could do that's like kind of like his love language? Like, what would that be? And I would do that thing and I would do it pissed off, but I would still do it. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, thanks for doing that. And I'm like, oh, thanks for recognizing me doing that. Right. Like, and it was like this ripple effect when I started something really small. All of a sudden now we have this marriage. I'm like, the other day I just started bawling because I'm like, oh my God, I have that marriage I prayed for years ago. Like,
Oh, I love that.
what happened here? Like, and it wasn't something big. It was like a lot of little things throughout the way, right? And it's the thing, I shared this on a live the other day, like it's the thing I'm the most proud of because I've had to work the hardest on this that I have anything. I've never had to work at any business this hard. I've never had to work at anything this hard as I have pouring into my marriage. So it's like when we start living in the state of gratitude, like we see things differently. The second thing is like when we start living, and Nicole and I have talked about this a lot, and we work a lot on this, both of us do, of like living with intentionality and living right here, right now, right? Like that's when we just realize that we don't have control over the past and we don't have control of the future. We just live like right here, right now. Things start to like different. It looks different. Our eyes look different. Our brain processes things differently. We show up differently in our life. Like all of a sudden we allow ourselves to be freaked out from what just happened, the past. We allow ourselves to be freaked out of what could happen. We're like, it's okay. We had our freak out. Hold on. Okay, cool. We did it. We had our freak out. Now let's come back. Because
Yeah.
what really matters is like my feet are right here. I'm inside a beautiful room here. Like I don't have to worry about air conditioning or heating. Like I got a nice soft carpet on my feet. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is right here, right now. I'm with you guys, which is like my favorite thing to do. So it's like right here, right now matters a lot. And I think so gratitude, intentionality, and then the third thing was oh my God, what was my third thing? Oh, it was living in the now. So there was like intentionality and living in the now. I just talked about both of those. So the difference between intentionality and living in the now is like intentionality, living in the now is what I just talked about. Intentionality is like, I'm going to actually enjoy the conversation you and I are having on this podcast. I'm not going to be thinking about the 10 other things that I have going on for the rest of the day. I'm not going to be looking down at my to-do list overwhelmed with like, how am I going to finish that? It's like I know Nicole cooked a cute little breakfast for her kids today, right? Like, I think it was today you said you were going to do that. It's like being present in that moment of cooking a breakfast with your kids. Yesterday, I shared this in one of my group programs, like or one of my one-on-ones, I forget, they all kind of run together, but it was like yesterday, my kids wanted to like watch two chick flick movies back to back. And then they wanted to go to sushi, and then they wanted to come play Mario Kart. And then and I'm like, oh, like,
And you're not a sitter. Like, maybe everybody doesn't know this about you, but
I
you don't
sit.
really
Oh
watch a
no.
lot of TV. Right? Like
I'll watch shows and stuff when it's like my downtime or whatever. It's not like I'll watch one movie, but two movies. I mean, I'm sick if I watch two movies. Like I better
yeah,
be sick or something. It's like not something I enjoy doing.
I've
I
got too
did.
much shit to do.
No, and it's not even that. I don't even think, I just think of like, I would rather be doing something else, right? Like something more gratifying than watching a movie, but watch two movies. And then Mario Kart, I'm like, oh God, I know when I start Mario Kart, it ain't ending for like 8 hours because like, I can't, I'm like, like, I just get too into it. And I'm like, can't do this. I played with the kids. We had such a great time, right? Then we went to this sushi that was like an hour and a half long lunch, which was great and amazing. But it was like the slow down of the day and living with true intentionality. Like we went to bed last night and we just were laughing and giggling like, oh, mom, you suck at Mario Kart. And I'm like, I killed you. What are you talking about? They're way better at it. They play all the time. So it's like that moment of intentionality where you just realize like, I'm just going to live the hell out of the moment right now instead of waiting until I have the money, waiting until I have the marriage that I want, waiting until my kids act the way they should be acting. Like, no, just act cool right now. Like enjoy right now.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, there is Nicole who's jumped in her ice cold swimming pool because she's
I
like,
did.
hey,
My husband, I told him I wanted to get one of the things. Like
hold
one of
that.
the ice bath things. He's all, Nicole, we got a freezing ass cold pool right now. I'm all, bet, bet. He's all, you're not gonna die. Don't tell me I won't, because I'm going now. Like
Do
now
it.
I'm really going. You're right. We do have a pool. Let me take advantage of that. Oh my God, it was so amazing. I
I
felt
know.
so euphoric whenever I was done.
I know.
Euphoric. It was amazing. Yeah, I think that for me, gratitude has always been the way to change things for me. And I know I've shared this on a couple of podcasts before, but whenever I lived in North Carolina, it was the hardest time of my life, next to being homeless. And I would write down every single day. I was like in the deepest depression of my life. And I would write down every day all of the things that I had to be grateful for, that I had a roof over my head because there was a time in my life that I didn't. Um, that I had a meal to eat, I had a car that had gas in it, like that I had, someone that I could phone whenever I had a problem. Like that I had my circle of friends, even though I still felt lonely, like all of these things, right? Like, um, I would literally, I remember saying I was grateful that I had a roof over my head, and the roof over my head had a huge hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't able to sleep in my bed in that house because there was a huge hole in the roof, like you could see it was like a skylight, like there was
Mm-hmm.
the roof was fucking missing. Okay, the house was torn down shortly after I left. I wasn't actually supposed to be living in it. I was kind of like a squatter. Um, I don't think I've ever really looked at it that way before, but I was kind of like, squatting in this house. A friend of mine was renting for $100 a month, and they let me stay there. So, grateful, but it was through, and then I got into my next apartment and I did the same thing. And I kept just um, up leveling my life because I had to find a way to change how I felt, or I was going to spiral and not be okay. And I don't know that people talk really enough about that part of why gratitude is important, but it is. It will change your entire mood. It is literally, thank you, Tarlise, for showing me the whole 1234. But I got it tattooed on me. I told her that I was doing this. It's a friend that has 1234 tattooed on her arm, and every day at 1234 she stops what she's doing and she has a moment of gratitude, and now I've got it on my hand. So every time I look down at it, I'm like, I'm so grateful for this podcast. I'm so grateful for this relationship with Anna. I'm so grateful that you guys all tune in and that you like what we have to say, and that it may move you in some way, hopefully in a positive direction. And I'm grateful for that.
Mhm.
So gratitude is, I feel like, the key to happiness is
So
choosing. What's
Nicole,
the intentionality? Is choosing to be grateful. Like I'm choosing to stop the thought that I'm having and choosing to look at the gratitude. That is the intentionality. And living in the now is realizing that like right now I'm okay. And I'm going to choose to be present in this conversation and all of that. So I agree with those three things.
so if someone has told you, like, I'm thinking of people on the other end, women on the other end right now, has been like, oh my God, the economy is so bad. Groceries are so expensive. Like, I don't even know like about our house, like the car is breaking down, like the washer's going out, the dishwasher doesn't work. Like when you have that person in your life that's like, there's no way you're going to make it in that industry. Why would you think you could make money at coaching? No
Oh,
one's spending money on programs. No one's spending money on
well,
people.
Nicole, you
Why
need a
do people
guarantee.
pay
Like
that much? Like,
people aren't going to
so
pay for hypnotherapy. They need a guarantee. Well, then you're not my client. And the people that want hypnotherapy, that believe in what I do, they're going to call me. And they have. And they've had amazing results. So, sorry, I just interjected, but yeah, I
no, no.
kind of agree
So,
with you.
so if you have someone that's like that in your life, like what would be, or maybe someone listening to this is noticing that their thoughts are that way, right? That they're thinking that, you know what, I need to stay in this 9 to 5 job because why would I ever want to go after my dream? There's no guarantee on my dream. Or like, you know what, why would I seek a fulfilling marriage when it's just doomed? Like we're done. Like there's no fixing it. It's gone. Like so if someone listening has having those thoughts, or if you know someone, right? Like what would be your advice to them?
My advice to them would
Mhm.
be, I hear you. And those thoughts, that negativity, that woe is me, because sometimes it really feels that way. And it does. And it's, rightfully so.
Yep.
Um, but it sucks to feel it. It sucks to be in it. And that is literally the feeling that took me to hypnotherapy. So I would say, give me a call and let's do a free session.
Yeah, you're doing sessions right now. That's
I'm
cool.
doing free sessions. If you have never been my client before, I'll do a free session with you. Let's do it.
Yeah, love it.
So, let's see what you can get out of it in a free session and see if it's something that you want to continue with, because you got to go in and change how you're feeling. You got to figure out a way to say, I am that person. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm being super negative in my whole life. I'm finding the negative. I'm searching for the negative. I'm going to challenge myself today to find 3 things that are positive with my day. 3 things. I don't care how shit my day is, how bad things have gone. I'm going to find 3 things that I am grateful for in my day. 3 happy moments, 3 joyous things, um, 3 moments of gratitude. Just 3.
Power three. I
Yeah,
love this. I love this conversation today.
me
So
too. Be
so
intentional
good.
for 5 minutes in your life. What do you intentionally want to do to change your mind right now? To change your attitude, and then go do that. Find some gratitude, and then just be in the moment right now.
Right here,
So
right now.
about the things you don't have.
Love it. So if you guys aren't following us on social media, you should be, because we are officially back to uploading these videos onto YouTube. We started at the beginning of our journey and then paused for a minute, went over to Facebook and Instagram and decided, yeah, no, we like YouTube. So go over there if you want to see our sparkly little faces. And then if you're not a part of our membership, what are you waiting for? It's $4.99 a month. We have a grip load of content already backloaded in there, and then you get any additional content that we upload every month, and it's like new stuff, right? Like it's deepening the conversations that we've had here in a whole new level. And then lastly, if something that we've said has like hit you and you're like, yes, oh my God, I love it, this is amazing, yeah, or yeah, I'm that person and I'm feeling a little triggered right now, like, dude, like we just ask that you leave us a review. This is like our life's work. We get really excited about doing this podcast, and there's a link down below for a review. So we like 5 stars, by the way, also. So
Yeah.
just
Share this with a friend.
yeah, share with a friend too. Okay,
All
love
right.
you
See you
guys.
guys next time.